Spider-Man 2 fans, get ready. With 24 hours to go for the Game Awards, where a lot of us are hoping for a new trailer or gameplay, despite it happening or not, actually makes no difference, because according to a Reddit user, the fact an action figure recently leaked online, they said, I would say a trailer or gameplay demo is imminent. Now we've got a lot to unravel here, as well as if this game is actually going to receive a delay. If you can leave a like on this video, it helps a lot, so I'd really appreciate it. But if you get to the end of a video and you say, well, I didn't actually enjoy it, then feel free to turn your like into a dislike. But if you could drop a like right now, it helps a ton. Now, first things first, this action figure that has supposedly leaked online according to a Reddit user. Now, we've dug a little deeper into this and couldn't seem to find anything of that nature, unless we simply just didn't dig deep enough, I guess. Now, a few people have actually asked a Reddit user to go ahead and share a link, so as soon as we have an update on that, I'll keep you guys posted. But one thing that the Reddit user is actually right about is the fact that a trailer or gameplay demo is ultimately imminent. Now, if you're hoping for gameplay or a trailer at the Game Awards, you could be right, but also wrong, sorta. Now, do you remember back in September where an insider claimed that gameplay for Marvel Spider-Man 2 would be shown, and I quote, soon, and then it never happened and we all basically felt lied to? Well, that individual was actually a very credible source and may well have been right. So since the Tony Todd interview, who of course is a voice actor for Venom, dropped a whole load of teasers, and then Insomniac Games responding to a fan who was ultimately requesting news for this game and basically got told to be patient, the temperature has been turned up a lot for this game. But wait, there's more, because earlier today I dropped some news where a user on Reddit actually managed to find one of the biggest finds yet that was placed nicely in the first trailer, teasing how big this game would actually be in terms of map size. So yes, this past week, as far as news and teasers go for this game, has been very hot, and with so many games having their build up for next year, especially with the Game Awards tomorrow, there is no doubt that Insomniac are sitting back, ready to drop something, but I truly believe on their own platforms. Now this leads to the speculation on the game being delayed and whether or not that is actually going to be a thing, or whether or not it's already happened. Now here's the thing, firstly, Insomniac are very adamant that the game is actually on track and will not be delayed. And also, Sony technically can't afford not to have another AAA follow-up for next year, considering the major success of course, the recent God of War game. Now the first trailer for this game is close to 30 million views, and it's been over a year since they've actually dropped anything news related for the game, right, as far as officially goes. So the fact that things are unraveling now as we head into 2023 honestly almost feels like it's been strategically done, although of course it technically hasn't. But the reason why I say that is simply because even if you've been busy with other video games throughout this year and almost forgot about this game, you are definitely now at that point where you'd randomly just go ahead and ask the question, oh, what's going on with that Spider-Man game? And well, of course, with the holidays right around the corner, yeah, I think we may well be in for something rather interesting, simply because it would be a smart thing for them to actually drop something in the holiday seasons once these events are done, especially because the marketing needs to start for this game basically now. I mean, if we're talking realistically when they're going to really start pushing things, it needs to be January. January has to be the month of the marketing, with the assumption that the game will actually release maybe around September, or let's just say towards the end of next year. So there still needs to be some sort of a build up for arguably, well in fact not even arguably, undoubtedly should I say, one of the biggest games to drop next year. Now of course this is where things get a little bit wild, because if you didn't see the video earlier, I'll just quickly give you guys a summary. A Reddit user basically found the number 718 on the trailer that dropped last year. Now, why that's such a big deal is simply because the number 718 is actually an area code for Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. Now, of course, what we've had this whole big thing going around is, well, how extensive is the map going to be in this game? You know, how far can you actually travel, etc, etc. We then had the whole theory, well, of course we see the subway lines in Miles Morales, could that actually link to the Spider-Man 2 game, etc, etc. I mean, there's been a whole bunch of things going around. But the fact that the words, or should I say number 718, were actually neatly placed somewhere where it's practically taken a year to be discovered, unless somebody else did actually discover it but just never took to social media to share it, then it's very, very crazy. Could that have ultimately been the final thing that people needed to figure out? But of course, things do actually make sense. I just find it very interesting how we've practically had nothing for the entire year for this game, and here we are in December. Practically this whole, I guess we could say maybe 1 to 2 weeks now, has just been rammed with either theories, news that has been teased by people like the voice actor for Venom, and then speculation or Easter eggs like we've literally just got now. It's very, very crazy that it's all happening, and it's happening very quick. But as I say, if you are looking at the Game Awards as an event where they are going to show gameplay or a trailer, it's very much a 50-50 scenario. Realistically, they don't need these big events, right? Of course, it's sad that E3 no longer exists, but if they were going to bank on one event, it would have been that event. They really don't need an event like the Game Awards, etc. to actually showcase the game. I said it in the previous video, I've been saying it for ages now. They can literally just release something on their Twitter account and the internet will just go nuts. It will just be distributed across the entire internet. They don't need an event to actually do that, simply because it's a very, very anticipated game. However, as I say, if we're going back to, of course, a tweet from the credible source about gameplay or a trailer being shown soon, then yeah, I guess this is where Game Awards would actually make sense, because the question is, okay, where are they getting that info from? So we could actually be in a scenario where we actually do see a trailer at the Game Awards, at least fingers crossed anyway, and then they go ahead and drop gameplay on their own platform, so on the official PlayStation YouTube channel, etc, etc, and of course the Insomniac Twitter account. That's something that could happen, but either way, I think it's a win-win scenario, because as I say, going on the assumption that the game isn't being delayed, and the reason why it's not going to be delayed is because we've already been told about 2024 by the voice actor and how we should be looking forward to that, and how that ultimately led to one big speculation about a Venom DLC and a whole nother expansion. This game needs to release next year, and there's no way, even if we're going for the end of the year being a release date, nothing happens in January or February. Like, they need that, well, specifically they need those months to be the start to give something, even if it's literally a trailer and we don't get gameplay, or if we get a gameplay trailer where it's ultimately the cinematics and then mixed with a bit of gameplay, like that would go for me. I would be happy with literally 60 seconds of that. That would be absolutely fine, but there needs to be something to just randomly spark up the interest. So even if that does happen and then we don't get anything in, say, February, but then we get something in March or April, I guess that would be fine, because it's not been over a year at that point, right? Like, we haven't just had a gameplay, or should we say the official trailer, because that wasn't even a gameplay trailer, so we aren't still sitting there with just that trailer saying, hey, look, we're actually getting Spider-Man 2. At that point, things would actually be alarming on, okay, is the game being delayed or not? But as I say, Insomniac have said that well, at least they're very adamant that it's on track, and I guess with everything being teased, things are starting to interlink and make sense. But you want to check out that info that was released, finding that Easter egg on how big this map is going to be, so check that video out on screen right now. You do not want to miss it.